Hi, my name is Tomasz and you're watching Casual DIY channel. In today's episode I will be quickly telling you about the trimmer router from Katsu. Right, so recently I made a video about a jig that uses a T-track and obviously this particular router. Now there was a lot of question what the router is, and I had a lot of emails saying, well, is it any good? Could you tell me something about it? Is it worth getting? Hence this video. Rather than answering probably about 50 emails, I'm just gonna make a quick video for you and talk about what I think about this small router and what attachments you can get for it as well. I'm actually not sure if you can get this make anywhere else apart from United Kingdom. Absolutely got no clue, but obviously I will link to this router and all the attachments I've got. I had them off Amazon, I've bought them off Amazon, so I'll drop the links to all of this down below in the description of this video so you can check it out for yourselves. Now the first thing, most important, the price. Now I actually managed to get it for 32 British pounds on Amazon. Nowadays I think they're oscillating about 36 quid, so it's a still very good value for money. Now, to be absolutely honest with you, there isn't a vast amount of amazing features that come with this tool. It's basic, but the most important thing, it really works. So the power on this is 710 watts, and for a small router, that's more than enough to tackle any of your projects. Now, this router, you've got the collet 1/4, which is widely acceptable and widely available, but also 3/8 of an inch as well, so you can use the smaller bits with it as well. And I've been using those smaller bits to actually route out some really detailed patterns, and it worked fantastic. I had this router for, well, more than 2 years now, I think, and it still works, never missed a beat. It does come with 6 speeds. It's a fairly wide range as well to suit any of your needs. And I'm not trying to sound over optimistic or positive about this tool, and definitely I'm not trying to sell it to you either. I do have 2 other routers. One is from Bosch, it's a plunge router, and that costed about 90 quid. And also I've got a Guild router. I don't think they actually make it anymore. It was you could buy it in home base here in the UK, and I paid, I believe, 42 or 33 quid with those. Obviously both of those tools got far more power, but this is the one I use constantly. So I only use the other machines to do some heavy duty stuff like flattening a board, removing a lot of material in one pass, in one go. But other than that, this is my main router and I use it all the time. So what are you actually getting in the main package? Obviously the router itself. You get this base, really simple to lock it down in place. You also get this plastic see-through attachment for your shop vac hose, and I have to say it works absolutely perfect. When the shop vac is hooked up to this, there's hardly none dust going outside of this machine. So with dust extraction, if you're using this, it really works. You also get an edge guide, and I have to say it's not the best. I did had some issues with aligning that correctly. It does work, but it's far from perfect. You also got a pattern tracing bit. I have to say I have never used that. I've not found any particular reason to use it at all. Now this router seems like it and looks like it, a total rip-off the Makita version of it, which is obviously far more expensive. Now, good thing about this trimmer router, you can actually buy some really cool bases and attachments. Now, I've got more or less, I think, all of them. Why? Because I really like this tool. I've got the plunge base for it. Again, really easy to drop it down, lock it in place. The lock mechanism works really well. For example, in my Guild router, when you place it at a specific depth, it always goes up that 1 or 2 millimeters, whereas with this one, there is no movement. Whatever level you lock it, it will stay there. Now, the base, don't get me wrong, is really basic. You've got the depth adjustment there, 3 options to set it up, but you can actually change all of them, just bolts basically. You've also got a micro adjustment here, which is quite handy. I've used it a few times, but again, this is very, very basic. But it works. It doesn't have to be over complicated. The next base I managed to pick up is this clear one. Now, I don't believe I've bought it years ago, so don't quote me on this. I will try to find the link to this one, but I don't think this is the original one for Katsu. I believe I just found it on eBay, but I can't really remember. If I find it, I will drop a link to it down below in the description of this video. Now, why this is handy? Well, because it's see-through, it's far easier to trace any patterns, especially when they're really detailed. So I've been using that quite often. And again, despite the fact it's actually made from plastic, the locking mechanism works just fine and the router will not slip, will not move. I had never any issues with it so far. The next base I've bought is the tilting base, so you can route under an angle. So if you, I don't know, you're doing a box and you want to make a channel of some sort on the 45-degree angle, anything like that. Now again, it's a very cheap base and you do have the scales on the plastic, but very hard to see, and I would imagine they're not very accurate. So if you decide to buy this and you are setting the angles up, check it. Don't rely on the markings on this, because I very much doubt they're accurate at all. Now, I've used this on a few occasions, and again, it just works absolutely fine. Now, my favorite attachment is the one with the dust extraction. Why? Because it actually doesn't allow the dust to go anywhere else. It's a locked chamber, and whatever is produced by the router itself, it's sucked out by your vacuum. And seriously, how good this is unbelievable. I've got something similar on the Bosch router, and it's not getting even close to this attachment for this router. There is basically no dust coming out. So I know it's just a quick video, an overview of this router, and I have to say, I really can't find any bad points for it. It's cheap, it's cheerful, it's simple, it works. Of course, you can buy a router for a couple of £100 and it will have some amazing technology in it. But for a DIY like myself, I don't really find use for it. This works absolutely fantastic. I just made a really good jig for this router as well, so I can follow straight lines and do it very quickly, set it up in no time at all. So why spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on something else? Obviously, on some occasions, you're going to need something with a bit more power. But again, it doesn't have to cost a fortune. I've got a Guild router for 40 odd quid. That's got more power than the Bosch, and it's basic, but again, it does the job and it still works after a few years. But guys, if you've got a question, if you're thinking about buying this, get it. It's really worth the money. For 30 odd quid, you can't go wrong with it. Also, if you're interested in any of the bases that I've shown you as well, I'm going to try to find all of them on Amazon so you can go and have a look. But obviously, that's just an overview, so you know exactly what you're looking for. But you can pop in on eBay, maybe they're there, I'm not sure. As I said, I've got it off Amazon, and you've got that a little bit more protection from Amazon if something goes wrong. But touch wood, there's plenty of it here. It works fantastic. I hope this video was a little bit of a help to you. If it was, drop me that like button down below. Much appreciated. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing for more videos from my channel. And don't forget to press that bell notification button and change it to all so you don't miss any of my future content. Now, if you're interested in any other of my tools in my workshop, I'm just going to leave a playlist which is just over here. Go and click it, have a look what other tools I've got that I re-reviewed quite recently so you can see how they perform after a few years. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Take care.